The fight between the dwarves and the destroyers consumed the dwarven race. Few lived to return to the surface and tell tale of their victory, and those who did had been irrevocably altered. No longer made of flesh and bone, no blood pumped through their veins. Instead, they found their bodies composed entirely of stone, surrounded nothing but cold, hard earth. No longer interested in maintaining their solidarity as a race, these last dwarves scattered across Tyria, finding battles to fight in the deep caverns or making new homes in far-flung hills, ever watching the borders where caverns emerge into the surface world. Those few individuals who can rightfully claim to have met a dwarf in their lifetime are rare, and all speak of the strange, driven passion that consumes these few survivors. The legions of the Char threw off the shackles of religion, casting their shamans down to the lowest order of Char society, and elevating the military warbands into a solidified government. Although the legions have no central rule, they work together to maintain their territories in Ascalon and make plans to one day spread farther, eradicating humans wherever they fester in the face of the world. The four primary legions of the Char, the Ash Legion, the Blood Legion, the Iron Legion, and the Gold Legion, each control city strongholds spread across the eastern lands. Char warbands strike out from these safe havens to defend their territories, battling the shades of Ascalonian warriors, the twisted servants of the desert dragon, and the horrifying beasts that come up from beneath the ground throughout Ascalon and the Shiver Peaks. While all four legions can claim lineage to the Kanur, the ancient ruler of the Char, the Gold Legion has been considered outcast since the fall of the shaman caste during the time of the famous Char heroine, Kala Scorchrazor. And yet the Char alliance remains strong enough that none of the three allied legions bars another from their capital. Even though the lands of the Char are divided, the legions work together to unify the whole and finish their conquest to the heart of the Ascalon city and beyond. The fall of the Char shaman from the height as leaders affected more than the Gold Legion. While shaman are still considered useful to the war effort, they are also viewed as dangerous and subversive, and are almost universally scorned. No Char in the New Age will willingly suffer a shaman to rule them. Even after more than 200 years, the Char bristle at the memory of the time when the shaman and the titans held power over them. The Char today are fierce in their rejection of all gods and any who serve them. They do not accept any god's authority, and are quick-tempered about any Char worship or manipulation by godlike beings. And while no Char would ever follow the shaman, it is still the underlying goal of every Char leader to prove his own superiority, subjugate his followers, and raise the banner of one legion above the rest. Unity, they say, can only be established beneath a single military leader. Most Char believe that only under such rule can their race fulfill its destiny to rule all of Tyria. Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for the members of the other races, most Char leaders also believe that the only leader capable of unifying their race is themselves. The Asura are a subterranean race driven to the surface during the time of the Great Destroyer. Incredibly intelligent, they use their skills with magic and crafting to establish their presence on the surface. With the sudden absence of the dwarves, the Asura became the foremost crafters on Tyria, their abilities and skills instantly invaluable. The Asura acclimated to life above ground in the wake of the destroyers, creating cities that span territory above and below the surface. Although the Asura have grown to appreciate the skills and talents of other races, often using them in experiments or on dangerous missions, they hold fast to their organized society. They have no organized government, preferring to create crews and follow the most experienced leader for the duration of each individual task. The short stature of this race has not impeded their confidence, however. In fact, one might call them condescending, as they are perhaps a touch too confident for the comfort of some other races. The Asura believe that they are destined to rule the larger, less intelligent races of the world. They see humans, especially, as quite good for heavy lifting, and in general terms, view other races as merely pawns to be manipulated in Asuran schemes. As a step in their master plans, the Asura establish good relations with every other intelligent race in Tyria, from the militant Char to the inquisitive Sylvari. They even established Asura gates in major cities to provide safe passage from city to city and promote trade. However, they control these gates jealously, maintaining their trade routes and their neutrality as carefully as a gem, always keeping themselves on the edges of disputes and wars. Their own cities are far off the main paths of travel, distant even from the central Lion's Arch. There they perform experiments, searching for new magics and new power to control. Although some say the Asura have integrated into society, it would be more accurate to say they're creeping over it like ivy and moss, fingers digging into the crevices where magic can take hold. In some ways, they fear the caverns beneath the earth, still troubled by horrible beasts of fire and scale. The dragon that dwells in the depths threatens them above all, forcing them to abandon their ancient ways and discover new resources. For now, to keep their place, they must still maintain their neutrality among the powerful races of Tyria, but the Asura fear that sooner or later they will have to take sides, and then their tottering world may crumble back into the dark depths. This reading of The Movement of the World will continue tomorrow.